Let's be nerds. Come on now, let's be nerds. Come on now, let's be nerds. Come on now, let everybody come and be a nerd now. Welcome to the podcast, man. I've been trying to get you in here for at least a day now.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you could come through, man.
Been busy.
Yeah.
The
IRL.
God.
The in real life.
In real life, yeah.
It's not my favorite thing. That's
I didn't sign up for this one.
Yeah, I think that's why us as nerds, we like to really jump into our comics and our movies and our animes.
Yeah.
Because their lives are just better.
Yes, like you want to experience their life. Like you wouldn't want the characters coming out of the book or out of the comic or anything like this into our real life reality.
You'd actually want to go into their realities because that's where all the cool shit's happening.
Ooh, sometimes.
Okay.
Some of them, I'm just like.
Okay, they're so gory. Yeah, like Attack on Titan, I would.
You guys can have your giant walls, your giant monsters, and I'll watch from a safe distance.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I had to give you that.
All right. So first thing I wanted to jump into. I always like to infuse nerdom with whatever people do in their real life. Right. So I wanted to talk to you about music because you have a musical background. And the first thing, I wrote it down over here, I wanted to ask was, you with your musical background, I wanted to start with this. In any movie, especially like comic book movies, a lot of the scenes and everything are driven by the music. So what is your opinion and thoughts on how music controls the tempo of movies, comic book movies, nerdom?
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, one of the things is, like, music, a lot of times when it's associated with a theme, and especially in a scene, it's actually very recognizable. Like, everyone recognizes, like, the whole Superman, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, like, old-timey, and that, like, all of a sudden is just stuck. And the thing is, the music does drive a scene forward, you know, and, like, if you get a little bit off, like, comic and, like, think of other movies, like, Jaws would be a good one. You know,
right.
And the scene opens up with like underwater and it's going through and it opens up the theme to its driving forward. At the same time, like in scary movies, a lot of times when that scene like something's about to pop up, and then like at the same time the thing that makes me laugh is when it gets to that like real high pitch, it just holds that high pitched note and it's just getting softer and softer. You're just like. Something's gonna pop out.
Yeah. And you know, I heard psychologically the reason that high-pitched noises kind of like make us uncomfortable or weary is because our brain automatically associates it with like a baby crying.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is super crazy to me that our brains just automatically connect things that we're not even thinking about ourselves. Yeah. And we're just like, we're uneasy. There's clearly a baby in threat of
On top of it, it's almost like the same thing with like why people are afraid of the dark. It is actually like a psychological thing that our ancestors developed because you know back in the days when we lived in caves,
Days
in the caves.
Yeah.
You know, like there were things in the dark that could eat us, and now we still have that, but there's not a real reason for it. But
except whenever you're going to throw away the trash by yourself, and you get like just a distance from the trash can, and and then you come back inside and you act natural. No, I just
absolutely. And the thing is, with you know, going back to the whole music thing, like when like you know, I know you don't know that much about like musical notation a little bit. I'm not sure if you know, like you know, there's eighth notes, you know, that you know, like dot 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 dot.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of times when you have a scene that's like a runaway train or like it's action, you know, dot 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 dot. Yeah, like it's driving the scene forward and it's engaging your sense of hearing, and your senses are associating what you're seeing with the music, and so it really enhances the experience. And like the way to explain that would be like prime example is. Like when you're watching a nice fight scene and you get goosebumps, it's because you're seeing the action, but you're also hearing the background music, which is helping the background noise that's happening. Like, and it really contributes to everything.
Yeah, the sound effects, the pumped up punch noises. And
some
of the videos that I've seen is like actually how those sound effects have come to be.
Oh yeah.
Where like it's like layered like 5 different things to make the noise that they wanted. Like a solid punch, they start with like a smack like this, but then they have like, it's crazy. They're all different ways, but there's things like they'll wrap a phone book up.
Yeah.
They'll wrap a phone book up and they'll hit it with a bat.
Yeah.
Just to like add that extra thump behind the smack.
Yeah, like there's this one video, I think it's on YouTube. I can't really remember what it's called, but it shows these 2 people, a man and a woman, and like it shows a scene of like a guy going through sea and everything like that. And it's funny, they had these chains and they're dragging it across the floor, and then one has like a paddle and there's like a little tub and he's going like this and he's swishing through water. And they had this wet clay because the guy's trying to cut fish, and so she's just like messing with this wet clay and she's throwing it on the table when the guy's throwing the fish on the whole counter. And a lot of sound, people don't realize sound does contribute a lot. Like a good example would be like Tokyo Ghoul, like the scene where spoiler alert, where Kaneki actually fights back and eats Jason.
Oh yeah.
And that scene where he, that scene where he breaks out the chair, and you just you hear the beginnings of Unravel, and you're just like, this is gonna be epic. You don't even need to know the scene, but the second you watch it, you're just like.
For the people that don't know about Unravel, what can you give a little background on?
Unravel, ooh. Like I if I had to be honest, I'm terrible with names, so I really don't know the singer, the band's name. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get chastised for this, so
no,
my bad.
It's fine. If you know, please tell us. That's why this is a mutually beneficial relationship. There's us on this side, and there's you on that side.
Yeah, but like from my understanding, the song is like about someone who's really unraveling. Like there's monsters in the world. Like you're as a person, like everything's coming apart. And hence the song Unravel, and that's what's happening in the scene. So it really correlates when you look into it. The hard part though that most people don't understand is like obviously Unravel's in a different language. It's Japanese, beautiful language. But the thing is like there's some English versions that you could see, and there's some real good ones out there. Like not all of them.
Does it exactly translate though?
Yes.
But I know sometimes there's like some things missed in translation.
Yeah.
So it's you think something's like, oh, that sounds beautiful, but then they're like, the legs jumped like frogs.
And you're just like, I need to hear it back in the original.
Yes.
No, I hear you on that, but this one, like it's like it from the translation I've heard, it's talking about like it starts out bum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum ba dum ba dum da da, right? And so
you do the best badundums
that
I've ever heard of anybody, because that you do music.
Yeah.
So like anybody else would have been like, I think it goes da 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 da. You're like, no, badum dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Literally, you heard the best badums you're ever gonna hear on any podcast. I guarantee you.
F.N.B.N does the Unravel.
Yeah. Thank you.
In case you're wondering what that thump was, he smacked the table in excitement because he just got the name of it. What was it again?
Animens.
It's
like anime in Z.
Nice. Yeah. Like from the translation I've seen, like like it starts out, oh, can you tell me the way the story ends?
I can't. That'll be spoilers.
Yeah, and it's just, and the thing is, it's like it goes into this whole story how this person is kind of lost, and once again in a world kind of like a monsters, how they're breaking down, and then when you really realize that and you watch the scene again with Jason, it really correlates better. That
torturing finger cracking,
counting
back from 1,000 by 7s is just of any anime ever. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Although I will have to say this, I'm gonna get a little bit off the music just for a sec. Like in Tokyo Ghoul, the one thing I was upset about was when he was fighting Toka's brother. Do you remember the scene Kaneki versus the guy who threw out those red spears? The red.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So in the scene, once again, spoiler alert. He fights Kaneki, and and it's like, okay, yeah, and it ends, but like in the manga and the actual book, it's what people don't realize is Kaneki not only defeats him, he breaks half his bones, like half his body, and it's hilarious.
Oh, down the middle.
Yeah, down the middle. Because here's how he does it, and he does it. He knows all like the body parts bone wise, because he's trying to figure out how to hurt the brother without killing him, because he's just like, you hurt Toka, like you should pay, but since killing you would just make her sadder, I figured a way out. And so when he pins him down, he's just like, because of the torture that he endured, because you know how like in the scene Jason's telling them, this bone's this, that bone's that, yeah. So he knows it. So he's just like, we're going to start with the fingers. This bone is known as this bone is known as
I had a wonderful teacher. The just to kind of transition a little bit from that, because you were comparing the anime to the manga, that leads me to this question. What are your thoughts, opinions, views on the fact that a lot of comic book movies, they don't come straight from the comic. They either use just certain plot points or overarching ideas, and then make their own run. Do you think that's good or bad? Because you're always going to get both sides of the argument about they didn't follow the comic. This person wasn't supposed to do this. But some things, I mean, generally speaking, just don't translate.
Yeah. If I had to be honest, it's like I kind of view that stuff like I would as a musician. Playing tons of music. You get different variations of a theme, and there's tons of songs called variation on a theme, where you get the overall original music, and each variation off of that basically is a little bit different, but they still have some of the original theme into it. It's just added more stuff and like little style markings here and there, and that's how I view kind of like the comics to the movies, like with the Batman movies, the Dark Knight and blah blah blah. Like obviously parents died, follow the same theme, everything like that. But like with the Justice League movie, and you have Batman in there, and it's completely different because you're just like, well, Batman doesn't kill people, and then all of a sudden you see him like shooting bullets at all these cars and they're exploding. And you're just like, I don't.
But I will at least say this for them: there is a strand of comics where I think is the Batman that they're trying to portray is the older, he's seen a lot and now realizes that at this point in his career, he pretty much has to do whatever he has to do. Yeah. So, but I feel like if you would have taken a younger, it's correct as long as they have this old diminished Batman doing that, as opposed to like, at least they weren't like, here's a new young Batman. He shoots bullets.
Well, see,
that would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the odd thing is, it's almost kind of like with Marvel and how they have different timelines and everything like that. And like to give a prime example, like X-Men is one of those things where it's just all over the place in terms of like X-Men's a future days past, blah blah blah, and you're just like, and like there was this one meme going around where Logan's in the car and Patrick Stewart's playing
it's Professor X.
Thank you. I am having a brain fart today.
It's fine. That's why I am here.
Exactly.
I am here. Nerd Word. Nerd Word. The best podcast is here. Go ahead and bring that over from the other one.
Right? And so the meme shows Logan talking to Professor X is just like, what timeline are we in? And Logan's just like, yeah, shut up and just enjoy the movie.
To be honest.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people, when you go into that kind of thing, there are fans who love certain timelines and don't love others. And that's why this is kind of difficult in terms of movies. There are certain movies people like because it goes along a certain timeline that they like, or a certain variation, but they don't like the other variation.
That's one place I want to say, because, all right, so most people's viewpoint, I'm not going to speak for everybody because, there's hardcore DC and there's hardcore Marvel fans.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, there's a general consensus that Marvel wins when it comes to movies because they got billion-dollar movies literally all the time.
Yeah.
DC wins when it comes to animated films.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
And TV shows.
Yeah.
Because people are really invested in the TV shows. But one thing that I feel DC, and I've spoken on this before, one thing I believe that DC always has that Marvel's never gonna have, is all these different universes, 53 different universes, including X.
Yeah.
That they can just always have a backup to, oh well.
If one fails, you can go.
Yeah.
No,
sorry, that was pirate Batman. You were wrong.
And I totally feel you on that.
So they can be a little bit more lenient with stories, and then that's why they can do the TV show different universe thing. Whereas Marvel tries to do the connection. Yeah. And a lot of times they succeed. Oh yeah. But sometimes you're kind of like, well, that ain't quite right.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like. You're right in terms of with DC like that, and they can be a little lenient on like letting things slide. But at the same time, it's just like, well, if you let this slide, what's to say you won't let more things slide, and it just gets further away from the original 53 that were there. You know, like we were talking about like you know, comics, cartoons, and then like the actual movie or TV series. And one of the things that we actually talked about the other day was we were talking about the Teen Titans series that's coming out, and I still have not seen the clip. But I've been told
you still shouldn't.
Yeah, and I've been told many things.
Don't do it.
And I will say this though.
Everybody get excited for this. Teen Titan Go. All right, but you go ahead and go watch that. But also, they confirmed that Netflix is picking up the original Teen Titans series. So at minimum, I don't know how many seasons gonna get. I'm not sure about all that information, but as long as they give me one to tie up all the loose ends, like I'm there 100%.
And the thing is, okay, so here's the thing. I've heard it's only gonna have one more season. Like, and it's with rumors. Like, we don't know for sure.
There'll be more podcasts, and whenever that news breaks, you'll hear it here first.
But the thing about it is, like, when, like, you're right. I'm with you 100% on that. Like, I want the series to conclude a lot of those, like. I need to know what happens for certain people here and there. Yeah. But going back to like the series, the live series that they're trying to do, the thing that, you know, there are two things that people are upset about. One should, if I had to say, is kind of wrong. There's the black actress who's playing Starfire is actually getting a lot of flack for being black. And that should be said. That come on, like really, like that's the stupidest thing ever. But
Gamora is green and she's wonderful. Now the thing I'm upset is why isn't she orange?
I would give it. I had to give them that. Why didn't they go the extra?
I mean, at least they made Beast Boy green. Congratulations, you made Beast Boy green.
Now, did they make him completely green? Because from the pictures I've seen, and once again, I haven't seen the clip.
Which he still shouldn't. Don't worry about it.
Is he like full green or is it just green hair?
No. He looks pretty much full green.
Okay, he's full green.
Yeah. I don't care for the whole fuck Batman thing. Just because I feel like that's just a way to try to be like, look at us, we're edgy. Yeah, we made Robin say fuck Batman.
Yeah. And which Robin is he supposed to be? Like, have they clarified that or?
It's supposed to be Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson,
and he has the most respect for Batman.
Yeah, because
literally of all the Robins, if you would have told me that it was him and what's her head's son.
You talk about it.
Ra's al Ghul's wife.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there you go.
What's the
son? Isn't it not Damon? Is it
Damien?
Damien.
Now that's the dick. Damien is the dick. Yeah. And so like if he'd have been like fuck Batman, I'd have been like, all right, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. But as far as Dick saying it, which he ain't the dick.
No, like
Dick is a dick, but he ain't the dick.
He ain't that kind of dick. Yeah. And so that's why I'm just like that makes no sense. You're not even going off like the whole basis of the core concept and doing a variation. You're literally doing your own thing, entirely different from the original theme. Which would be cool if it was its own separate thing and you were like, this is not the Teen Titans, you know, this is like whatever. But
that should be the title of this trailer. The whatevers. This season of the whatevers.
And you know, and the thing is with it, like you can't really blame the actors or the makeup artists.
They're just trying to make money. Yeah, they're just trying to do their job and promote their thing. To be honest with you, as bad as it is, if they came up to me and was like, Wyatt, we want you to play. I was gonna say Robin, but I kind of fit that role a little bit. Let's say they want me to play. We want you to play Starfire. I would be like, all right, we're going to go play Starfire now because now I have an IDMB page. Woo, look at me with my 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And the thing is, though, that's very true, and I would be the same way. Like,
you can't get mad at them.
But the directors and the writers, you could totally be pissed
I definitely want to look up their names and.
We have 4 viewers.
Huh?
We have 4 viewers.
We got 4 viewers. Woo!
And Cody commented, "I am here."
I am here.
Hi, Cody.
Cody is a ride or die friend right there. Literally, he'll be there. He'll like all your comments. He'll love them. He'll comment. He will follow you. He'll watch the whole thing because he took a nap. Shout out Cody because you deserve it, my friend.
He'll never miss a birthday.
He will never miss a birthday. He is just a good guy. To take a break, if you don't know Cody, you should. Shout out to you, buddy.
Hashtag get to know Cody.
Get to know Cody. Also, Moses has Facebook.
He said damn straight with 5 or 3 thumbs up and a heart eyes. And Steven is here too.
Steven? Oh, Steven. All right, so if you look over here on my wall over here, that's You're My Pepperoni.
Yeah.
He did that artwork for me.
Nice.
Yeah, he does a lot of art. He goes to a lot of conventions and stuff, and he'll set up his booth. He does artwork like on skateboards, which we have him a bunch of decks that he wants to do art on.
Yeah.
And he's just really good.
Yeah. And the fun thing is,
part of our nerd family.
Yeah. Oh,
F.N.B.N, the nerd family.
Zombie Bacon Studios. That's his art. If you want to go check him out.
Oh, Zombie Bacon Studios.
Zombie Bacon Studios.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure we gotta check that out.
Zombie Bacon Studios. In case you're wondering, people that are just listening to the crispy podcast, just a whole lot of flexing going on.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Steven said he's still coming by to pick up those boards.
We got 4 of them for you, man. They are over here and they're waiting for you. Some of them already have Spider-Man. You know what? As a matter of fact, 1 second. Moses, talk to the people, man.
Hi, people. This is a public service announcement. We're having some technical difficulties.
Well, I don't know about technical difficulties.
Okay, they're not technically technical difficulties, but do we have to really get on technicalities out of the technicalities?
I'm just gonna grab this Spider-Man one right. All right. So as you can see here, we have Spider-Man, and we got the Green Goblin. Okay, and he's riding his Marvel Wave Rider here, and they are definitely in some type of fight. But this right here is all yours.
Yeah.
He said, passing through the camera, have they made that technology yet?
We can do our best. Oh, let's see what that's for you. That's for you right there. You enjoy that. We'll just set that over there for now.
Was it? By the way, which do you feel is the best Spider-Man so far?
Tom Holland. I'll give you my one. I'm always completely transparent.
Right.
As far as whenever he was first coming out, this was the 3rd Spider-Man, and I was not excited. I was like, another Spider-Man. We've already had the 3, and then the 2, and then it was like, but the cool thing is, I think what made him successful, besides his age being more correct, was the fact that he was introduced to it like the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk became popular, I would say, and accepted once he was like in the Avengers and got introduced that way.
Yeah.
Whereas Spider-Man was the same way. They used the Avengers as a platform, accessible platform to introduce them. Just like the first Hulk movies or whatever, you've got people that like them, hate them, whatever.
Yeah.
But either way, they didn't do, as far as Marvel movies are concerned, they didn't do well.
They didn't do well.
And I think, like I said, what made it successful was introducing him to the Avengers, which is what made Spider-Man. And then they made, it was like super exciting for him. Under Ruse, flip over. And
oh my God,
oh my goodness. And it was kind of a boom, I'm here, I'm Spider-Man.
Like his interpretation of how Spider-Man should act, like the awkward,
very
geeky
accurate.
kid, but here's the funny thing: if you ever seen his interviews and everything like that,
same exact
thing.
thing.
He's always the same, and they always had to have someone there with him.
To censor him.
To censor him.
Keep your mouth shut. Look, there's Marvel snipers in the wings, and they're about to take our heads off us. Yeah, no, I know Cumberbatch. I almost feel like he's the guy they send with him a lot now, because they'll ask him a question, and then Cumberbatch will just be like, no, we don't know that. And then he's like, I'm not going to say that. That's all right. And then Anthony Mackie just makes fun of him all the time.
Dude, but at the same time, like, and the thing is, Mark Ruffalo is also, like, can't keep his mouth shut.
He did the live thing where he literally the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, like he just had it in his pocket just on live, and he got phone calls blown up. Hey, quit live in the movie.
And that blows my mind. Like, you know, and the fact is, you know, I'm kind of different from other people. I prefer being told what happens in the movie before actually seeing the movie.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
You enjoy the spoilers.
Yeah, and,
so
the main reason, believe it, it's actually been proven scientifically that there are actually a majority of people who actually like the movie is because they don't have to focus and gather so much new information. If you know what's going to happen a bit, you can sit back and enjoy it. At the same time, you can watch for other details that you wouldn't normally see because you're trying to gather so much new information at the same time.
All right, here's the first debate though, because I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you just for the fact that if you want to catch those extra details, that's why you go back and you watch the movie multiple times, and then you get to enjoy the experience of the reveals.
Right.
Like it may be scientifically proven that you can notice more, but that's why you go back multiple times. I feel like if you go in knowing everything and you just know the reveals, you're not gonna get that joyous, exciting feeling of being like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that Juggernaut was gonna be in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Spoiler. If you haven't seen it yet. Oh my god, I don't think that Theo has seen it. Theo, I hope you're not watching. He's not one of the viewers, is he? Okay, that's... Theo, I'm sorry.
There's 5 watching now.
Oh, fantastic. Who's number 5?
I don't know. It doesn't say who is.
Oh, well, just know that we love you.
Exactly.
Hey, if you're number 5, comment. Let us know who you are so I can shout you out, because I will shout out everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're listening to us on Anchor or Spot...
Cody hasn't seen Deadpool 2 either.
He hasn't seen Deadpool 2 either.
Cody, my man.
Wait. He had to have heard that Juggernaut was in it, though. That isn't the biggest spoiler. There's other spoilers.
He just says I haven't seen DP2 either.
Now, the question is, did he want to see it?
The question is, does he feel like Moses? Does he feel like...
Okay. So here's my logic, too, behind that, too. Okay, so, and you're right. Normally, like...
I'm the 5th watcher, that's who.
Now, normally, like, for me, it would be, like, I think, like, in terms of, like, an adult perspective kind of thing, like, responsibilities. I don't have time consistently to go to the movies to see the same movie over and over again. Granted, I would love to, but there's times where I want to be told something so I can just sit there and enjoy it once and then wait till it comes on, like, Netflix.
Steven hasn't seen it either, but Cody said he had seen trailers with Juggernaut, and yes, he would want to watch it.
What about Steven, man? I'm sorry,
Steven. He just says I haven't seen DP2 either, ...
That's a lot of dots. Oh, did he do a butt?
No, just...
Oh, I was hoping
for a butt.
I was hoping for a butt. Well, hey, Steven, if we did anything to make you upset, we got this skateboard.
He said just Joshin.
Aw, that fool.
That's so messed up.
You fool.
Don't trust Steven.
Love, just this. What do you learn from this podcast? Love Cody. Don't trust Steven. Okay.
All right.
So what I wanted to jump into.
He said, love you.
I love you too. We're good friends. We went to the convention.
Nice.
It was fun. So Steven knows exactly what I'm talking about. So all right, to jump to whenever we were having a discussion about the way Batman would act, what have you, that I'm gonna go ahead and transition from that to the Batman. And this question that I wanted to bring up to you was the difference between superheroes that have to or want to keep their daytime jobs for whatever reason versus the full-time superheroes. Do you think that adds more responsibility and maybe a different thought to them, or do you think that could just get in the way of their superheroics and really kind of make it to where it's more difficult for them and easier for the villains? Because I could see both sides of that.
And I'm with you on that. I can see both sides. The thing is, it's both. One, it can get in the way, but at the same time, depending on the superhero, it's because there's superheroes who like are all about like we had to save everyone, including the villains, and there are some superheroes just like we got to save the innocent people. The villains, if they get saved, but if they don't, I'm not gonna miss them.
To be honest, if I was a superhero, that'd probably be the way I feel.
And
like everybody that's good and innocent, let's save them first. And if
I'll get back to you on that.
I'm sorry, but if Green Goblin falls off of this building, like, oh, interesting. if Green Goblin just happens to fall off his Wave Rider to bring it back to the board, like
now going to the whole secret identity things. Yes.
Some care and some don't care.
Yes, but at the same time, it contributes to the character in terms of like on a psychological level. Like for example, like Superman loves human beings, and he plays Ken Clark.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm getting all tongue tied. But the thing is, Clark Kent.
Whatever. It's his dyslexia. It's fine.
Right.
He's got brain dabblage.
So like he sees and interacts with a numerous amount of human beings, and the thing is that gives him perspectives. Like there are good human beings, there are bad human beings, there are some mediocre beings who just don't want to mess with anything, but at the same time they just don't care about it.
Are you a mediocre being?
I do consider myself mediocre. But the thing is, like, imagine if he didn't have that kind of interaction, and he was just this all-powerful superhuman being, or super being, technically, and like
in a way, Injustice, both 1 and 2 kind of touched on that a bit, because it comes to the point that you have all this power. You have to make a decision whether or not you're gonna enforce what you think is right and wrong, as opposed to what the people of the planet think is right and wrong.
Yeah.
Because in Injustice, what happened was he pretty much was like, nope, I'm gonna make sure that there's no my definition of villainy or wrong. Or whatever.
Right. No, I remember
whatever
that.
I say goes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like,
actually, on our last podcast, not to interrupt you, the three villains that we brought up that had the best reason to be villains between the three of us, one for each of us, was I brought up Doom because Doom just wants what's best for his country. Austin brought up Injustice Superman.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, he, at the end of the day, felt like he was doing what was right. Yeah. And then Theo said Thanos. Because Thanos, as we talked about, feels that he's just trying to save everybody, in that cutting the people in half, and, like, more food, more prosperous. And he also did it in the way he thought was fair, which was completely random.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I think he's a villain because you don't kill Tom Holland, and you don't kill Spider-Man. Right. You just give him needless to execute.
Yeah, okay. But here's the thing. Like, a prime example of how we were talking about, like, the difference between comics and movies. Like, that's movie Thanos, though. Like, he's doing it for the good of this idea, versus comically, from, if I remember correctly, Thanos is doing it to try and impress Mistress Death. Who he falls in love with, like who he's obsessed with,
and he's mad because Deadpool got your girl.
Yeah, Deadpool. Man, that, like, when I found that out, I was like, bro.
I mean, it makes sense though.
Oh yeah,
but he can only visit sometimes.
Yeah,
he can't visit for too long.
Well, that's also because of Thanos too.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't realize. Yeah, Thanos cursed Deadpool with life, and basically made Deadpool sort of immortal.
There's that difference between the comics and the movies.
Yeah. Then. See, and that's the thing. Like, that's a prime example right there. Like, in the comics with Deadpool, before, he actually gets his regenerated powers, he actually sees Mistress Death, and he thinks he's hallucinating. And it's hilarious because he sees Mistress Death. She has a banging body. I mean, and he's just like, my hallucinations are awesome. Yeah, like, I'm really enjoying what
that's some real Deadpool stuff right there. Oh, by the way, to just jump to something, I love My Hero Academia. Yeah. And have you watched it?
I've read it more than I have watched it.
Okay, you know that stupid character, in my opinion, Twice?
Oh, yeah.
Who is just literally like a bland Deadpool ripoff. I don't care for him, and I want him to die.
Talk about character hate, but I feel you on that.
Because, look, he doesn't even, like, the most vulgar thing he did was flip off the camera. And at that point, I was like, okay, maybe I like this guy. But then his jokes are, like, bad dad jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I don't care for you. I don't care for your actions. I want you to die.
And the thing is, but you gotta understand where that kind of comes from, like, culturally, too. Like, in terms of, like, Japan, how they act versus how we Americans act. Rude all the way.
Okay, alright. So I'll give you the rude, but if I was gonna say vulgar, just think Japan, man. And then tell me they are not vulgar.
I don't know. I don't want to see, from all the things I've seen, like, of real life Japan.
Oh, the people there. They're super. And
the thing is,
I'm just saying, they're like, everybody's weird.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they have vulgar, but like their vulgar is like a kiddie playtime for us.
all I'm saying is everybody's weird.
Oh,
and Japan's got a different type of weird over there, all right?
There's a weird of the weird.
You can a friend of mine who's Japanese, she told me that there's actually a place where you can get married to like
a dead relative.
No, not a dead relative, but that's weird too. But what I was gonna say is you can get married to virtually in this building where they line up to your favorite anime character, your anime girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they have like some type of android or whatever, but it's that's some next level stuff there, man.
Yes, but they also, because they don't face the same problems we're facing. Like right now we're dealing with the whole racism and discrimination and like maybe Russia's messing with our stuff and Japan's just like, but we got anime. And it's just like, of course you're obsessed with that.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, we love anime too.
We just here at F.N.B.N. in the Nerd Word, we just want to make it known that we love anime. We love you too.
But let's see what we're talking about. We're talking but that's was it talking about the Thanos and Deadpool movie, Deadpool and Thanos. Although granted, the movie Deadpools were really almost spot on with like key things here and there.
Because that to me comes down to the love of the character.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, like he said, 11 years of trying to get that movie made and then leaked footage.
Yeah.
I did air quotes.
Yeah.
Leaked footage. That love shows through.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Like Ryan Reynolds is a great actor and I love him.
Oh yeah.
And he was built for that part, but he can act however he wants. I think that part of the reason that the Green Lantern didn't work was not because of Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
It's because I felt like his acting, to be honest, in that movie was fine. That wasn't a problem.
Yeah, like
the problem again comes down to the writers and directors, but also the love for the character. You can tell that Ryan Reynolds did not have the same love for Green Lantern
as
that he does for Deadpool.
Yeah, like, and that's very true. And, jumping to another subject,
Aquaman.
Ooh,
Aquaman. Jason Momoa.
Oh my God,
he pretty much is that character and loves that character.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see it come through.
Yeah. We were actually talking the other day about how someone was complaining about the sharks not being real, like in the poster of Aquaman.
It's a Getty image.
Yeah, it's
this movie's gonna be trash.
Yeah, and it's just like, what do you expect him to do? Like people with real sharks, and then it's what we actually brought up the point like we could literally see him. Okay, cool. That sounds awesome. Let's just jump in the water.
Yeah, Jason probably is he literally for the trailer, like the next day, we got a trailer coming tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
He jumped off a cliff into the water and was like, look, trailer tomorrow. Yeah, I guarantee you he is over in Hawaii and there's plenty of sharks over there. He probably has swum with sharks anyway. But the other comment that made it funny was they were like, this is gonna suck because they use these Getty images or
stock photos.
And then the other person was like, that's what stock photos are for.
Yes.
So you want to protect your actor and have sharks? You use stock images of sharks. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, yes. But on a different subject. So what do you think? I've heard, and I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that Disney actually finally bought out like a portion of Fox,
Yeah, they did, and they have rights to different things. I don't have the computer in front of me, but they have rights to a lot of the characters, and then there's and it was $73.1 billion. What they bought it for. And I thought it was super funny because Comcast, Xfinity, Comcast, whatever, they were the only other people that were competing. But whenever they came out, whenever they hit with that $64 billion bid, I was just like, where does Comcast get $64 billion? That's like when Arby's bought Buffalo Wild Wings for $1 billion. You're just like, how does Arby's have $1 billion?
Now, granted, I will say, I do not like Arby's. I was not impressed, and I know there's some people who be mad. Be mad, people.
We have
be
the
mad.
meats.
But yeah, no. And the thing is, like, I was actually hoping Comcast would get it because they really have a tight knit group with Netflix in terms of like they would do special deals with Netflix. I totally would feel that. That's how I feel.
No. This is debate. This is where the title comes in right here. I completely disagree. No, Disney should get the rights to all of it so that they have no problems with any of the characters and the Avengers working together. I'm worried about story and characters crossovers. You're worried about deals on
Yes, I'm worried about deals.
You're worried about like, whoa, which one of them is going to give me the cheapest DVD?
Okay.
No.
Well, okay, like, and here's the reason I feel that way is because once again, like the whole thing with the Netflix and the Marvel series that are on there right now. And the whole bit that you hear that, like, Disney's obviously going to take them away because, you know, they're trying to compete. And it's just like, well, I don't want to sign up for a new, you know, like, whatever, like, download a new app or whatever because I'm lazy.
I do not want to. It's going to ask me if I want to give permission. I don't want to allow.
Now, granted, it also brings up the point, like, would Disney still be, like, the thing about Netflix is Netflix will go dark. And they'll really go dark in terms of like, you know, when people die, like in the comics, it's just like, yeah, here's how they died. But I can't see Disney doing that. Now, granted, the whole Infinity Wars thing, where that's not as bad. Like even the whole scene,
they're letting Deadpool stay rated R.
Yes, but I want to.
And technically, Pulp Fiction was a Disney movie.
Oh, dude, that was.
Look it up.
So Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Really? That one I did not know. Wow. Wait, is it still a Disney movie?
It's not like a Disney, but Disney owns the rights.
Does that mean that
Vin
Diesel
Diesel
a Disney princess?
Not only is he Groot,
hey, he's Groot, Iron Giant, and a Disney princess.
Oh my god,
he's the man. Oh, bro, I watched like a 15-minute video of him just going, "Yo soy Groot." he's like, "Yo soy Groot." He's like, "Yo soy Groot." Just yo soy Groot. Just a bunch of different
times.
And there's times where he's on stilts.
Oh my god.
Just like, yo soy Groot. It's literally the best thing. I was like, I'm so glad this exists. Sometimes I've had enough of the internet. This was perfect. This is the perfect amount of internet right here. It's Vin Diesel on the stilts speaking I am Groot in Spanish.
So like Vin Diesel's like that video is like your cat video.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, like people have like they go
cats in boxes.
Yeah, cats in boxes.
Bunnies. Just cute stuff.
Cute things.
Yeah, there was you know, like turtles eating a strawberry.
Right. Oh god. Dude, I saw this one where this lady was getting rid of her tortoise and she was and the fun thing, it was cool because it would chase, like, when her husband would mow the lawn, it chases the lawnmower. And they don't know why, but it does. And they were like, it doesn't get along with our pig. And I was just like, get rid of the pig. Eat bacon. Like,
I don't agree with that. Everybody that's watching, he's a guest on the show.
I don't care about animal rights.
Nah, he cares, but, like...
If it's edible, eat it.
I mean, technically, you're edible. I'm going to throw you in this. That was clever. Oh, no. Ryu.
Couldn't handle the tap.
Oh, no. He's like, okay, then eat me. That was clever. I was like, that might have been you. Oh, wait, no, you were picking up the Ryu. I like watching the delay sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch yourself real quick.
Huh.
Give it a second.
Dude.
Give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. Oh, I pointed.
There
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
That is really. I was gonna ask. I'm not that big into technology, so this is really something new to me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, why do the videos look different? And I was just like, it's because you lag.
Yeah. Lag is why it looks different.
Okay.
To stay with Marvel,
right?
Another subject that I wanted to bring up was the Captain America Civil War. Whenever Iron Man had a change of heart and he felt that their group needed to be regulated and controlled by the government, like they don't move unless they get the okay to move. Whereas Captain America said, well, if I see something happening, kind of paraphrasing but quoted and saying, if I see something happening, then I'm not just going to sit idly by.
Yeah, you're going to help.
Me personally, I'm not going to say legally or whatever, but I was on Captain America's side because as far as like superheroes are concerned, I always felt that Captain America's thoughts, feelings, emotions are generally in the right place.
Yes.
Like, besides his overwhelming love for Bucky when Bucky was like murdering people, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just felt that Iron Man jumped the gun a little bit, but I know you see things as black and white sometimes.
Like
if it's law, it's law.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is one of those tricky situations, is because, like, in the movie sense, yes, it looks great, but when you apply that logic to like a real life situation, like, you're right, we have laws and they're there for certain reasons. But the thing is, it's like in the movie, the hilarious thing is how they actually became polar opposites. Like towards the beginning, Tony Stark was the rule breaker, and Captain America was always like, we gotta follow the rules. And towards how the movie series went along throughout the whole, not just Civil War,
character development.
Exactly, and they actually went polar opposite. And Tony Stark now is just like, we have to have rules, and and for Tony Stark, it makes sense. And like in terms of like,
if you look at his background, whenever he was not worried about anybody but himself, he was just making weapons and stuff for other countries. Even though some deals he didn't know was happening, at the end of the day, he saw Stark Industries on stuff that was attacking his own people.
Yeah.
And that was towards the beginning. And then you have to know that he probably took all these things, and then finally in Age of Ultron and stuff, like whenever they had the whole city go down and everything, I would say it definitely it added to the character development, because all these things in culmination with each other, just in his brain was like, he almost probably went into kind of shock.
Yeah.
A little bit, and that's why he jumped to, whoa, we need to be regulated by something. Yeah. Which, honestly, probably took what he thought was going to take pressure off of himself to make those tough calls.
Yeah.
Something I think isn't really talked about.
And that's the thing. It's very true. And one of the things I think he was worried about is, like, it's almost like the police. Who's policing the police, in a sense. Right. Well, like, you got superheroes, Captain America, and, Iron Man with this technology, and, you like, who's watching them? Who's keeping them in line from saying? And here's where it becomes to that subject of, like, individual personalities and what we consider morally correct as an individual. In terms of, like, Tony Stark does make a lot of sense, because he's just like, we need someone to watch us. There is a need there. We're too dangerous. Like, if you could pick up, like, a chunk of the earth, we're kind of too dangerous. And who's
to be honest, that wasn't, it was and wasn't his fault, though.
Yeah.
Because you just don't like Ryu, do you?
I keep knocking him down. My bad.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, it was and wasn't his fault in the sense of he did create Ultron. I'm just gonna take Ryu away. We're just gonna put. There we go. There's your nice little base to stand on. He created Ultron. So with Iron Man, that's another thing I feel goes into this, is he always creates a lot of his own problems, but I feel like superheroes in general do.
Oh yeah.
So that'll go ahead and lead me right into my next question, which is, do you think that villains would disappear if there were no heroes? Would we be better off without heroes?
Yes, I think we would.
I just think that people would still do villainous things.
People would still do villainous things, but if heroes didn't, it's almost like Vision, what he said. Like, when you have a strong force, you're gonna have an equally strong force try to oppose it. And the thing is, you're right. It would be difficult to go from heroes, we have them now, to no heroes. But you would have to.
You're saying starting off at a blank slate.
Yeah, if you had like obviously this reality, we don't really have like superheroes.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, buddy. Got your hero right here.
But like in a sense, I think so, because like villains would always, bad people would just do bad things. That's who they are. Regardless of what situation. But the thing is, you ever see it like where it starts out with like a bad guy, a superhero comes out, defeats the kind of lower level bad guys, and then the bad guys are like, well, we gotta up our game, so it gets more intense and involves like bigger things, more guns, more explosions, blah blah blah. And the one thing that always makes me laugh is you don't see like a side story of like Civil War brought up a good point in terms of like the effects, like what happens to regular people after you fight. Like they just all went home and they're like, good day, it was a good day, I stopped some villains, I created.
Don't worry about the millions of people that died.
Yeah. Like I feel
they did mention it. Is what you're saying.
Yeah,
they talked about it afterwards.
But the thing is, like, it in a sense, it just keeps escalating. And then, like, when villains get an upper hand, what are superheroes going to have to do? Like, what kind of amazing power are they going to have to get in order to match that? And then it just keeps escalating until, like...
They're going to have to get Captain Marvel is what they're going to have to do. And
yeah.
Captain Marvel going to go punch Thanos in the face.
See, and the whole thing is, like, that's how I feel about the whole, like Punisher is one of my favorite characters. Because...
I would say one of the best TV series is too, to be honest. Just
all
of them up until that point, my favorite was Luke Cage, just because I love cheesy one-liners and sweet Christmas. Like I eat that up. But then whenever Punisher happened, I was just like, this is just dope.
Yeah, dude, the character development. Like,
smuggling heroin in killed in action bodies back across the state lines. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is, it's the reason I like Punisher is because he kills these bad guys. So there's really no like upper hand or anything like that if you kill everyone who's doing bad things. Now that does kind of sound villainous, but that leads right into another question. Do you think superheroes would be better off if they were just able, because not all of them are, if they were just able to kill all these villains as opposed to locking them back up and then them escaping, like Batman? You know how, like, he locks the Joker up, he locked all these villains up in Arkham Asylum or whatever, and then before you know it, they escape and they're out doing things again, which is something that Red Hood got really mad about. Yeah. Because he's just like, what are you going to do? Just go lock them up again? But even if you kill them, if you want to go by what you're saying as far as escalation, someone's going to see that and escalate regardless. Yeah. So is killing them really going to make that big of a difference? Be cool enough with them, sure. But the thing is, it's one of those things where, like, with Injustice, you know, Superman started killing all these. Everyone became afraid. And granted, I don't condone fear, but it is kind of handy when you're like, hey, don't do bad things. I'm going to fucking murder you. It's just like, well...
Maybe I shouldn't do bad things.
Maybe I shouldn't steal that money. But
then it is a little different whenever you have a force of that magnitude, too, to create fear.
And the thing is, like, villains create other villains sometimes because of the fights with the heroes. Villains are very good at, like I'd say tricking, but more guiding people to believe that heroes were the reason they had to fight.
Manipulation is definitely one of heroes, or not heroes, villains' key strengths. Yeah. Because if they can use manipulation, they can get other people on their side, which increases their forces and power, and they can combat the heroism.
Yeah, and for example, like, one person would be like, oh yeah, like, I wouldn't have to have used explosives if this, and, you know, superhero didn't interfere with me trying to rob a bank. I'd steal the money, but I wouldn't need more money. But now I need more money because I got to build these high expensive, like, technology to take on the superheroes so I can steal the money.
That's kind of like, I don't know if have you seen Spider-Man Homecoming?
I have.
Alright, so you know how that the dude
construction worker.
Yeah. Like he wasn't, I mean, he was doing under the table type things to make his money and stuff. Yeah. But he didn't really use this technology and stuff for villainy until he saw that he wasn't going to be able to continue what he was doing.
Yeah, without...
It was I would say definitely one of Marvel's, because one place I'd say Marvel lacks is giving their villains, like, a good reason for villainy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, in the scene, he's just a regular construction worker trying to make ends meet, and so is all the other people that's working under him. And it wasn't until S.H.I.E.L.D. got involved and looked... But it wasn't even the contract, like, it's one of those things, like, and it happens even in real life, like, situations where if you look down on somebody, you just automatically made an enemy of them. And they come back with a vengeance. Like, a prime example of a real life situation was like when Obama was doing the congressional dinner. And he was telling Trump, one thing you'll never be is president. And you can even watch the video when Trump just like does that, like that little squint my eyes, like, we'll see about this.
I don't know if someone's done it or whatever. I definitely have seen that clip, but just go ahead and, like, hit him with a hard zoom and then add some villainous.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Not to say that, not to say that our president is an actual villain, But I'm just saying that it would be funny.
Yeah, but in this case, it would be funny. But in this prime example, that's what it would be, a prime example of this. Like, when S.H.I.E.L.D. came and started looking down on construction workers, and not really, like saying, hey, we can help each other out. How about you just focus on this building that has no technology, which they could have totally done. And they chose not to. They're just like, yeah, just get out. Like, what about, we need to feed our families. That sounds like some tough shit. Bye!
Right. And they should have at least gave them, because they have money.
Yeah,
money is not an issue. They should at least gave them compensation because they were the first ones that were supposed to be doing it. So the way to avoid the best you can, no matter what, people are, not everyone is going to like you. And I've definitely run into this, that like, I generally try to treat everybody equally, try to hear what they have to say, to create as a minimum amount of villains in my real life as possible. But no matter what, you're going to say something, you're going to feel a certain way about a topic, and someone just isn't going to like you.
Yeah, and that's actually what's happening right now. Is in this real life, situation, reality, we have people who are just
careful.
We have people.
Now it's 2018. You better walk on them eggshells.
And the thing is, it sucks, but it's what we live in. But going back to the comics things, a lot of villains, like, just when they face off against superheroes, like, that clash always creates just more villains. And it also creates a little bit of heroes, because some people are just like, I want to prevent this. And then they end up causing more, clashes with more villains, and it just leads to more of them. And it just, the population just increases until, like, basically everyone's just superheroes and villains.
If you're hearing these bings, it's because we record off a phone, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear the bings, but if you can, it's notifications and whatnot, and what I'm saying. Just don't worry about that. Just worry about what we got. What we got going on.
I was going to say, those comics.
56? Okay.
Oh, cool.
We're doing well.
Yeah, we're doing great.
We're doing great. So you're saying it just keeps increasing?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it goes back to that question: will we be better off with heroes? Without heroes, sorry. I personally think yes, because villains, someone's going to steal money from a bank. That's great. Like, let them steal the money. Once they're done with it, like, if a man has $1 million and that's all he's trying to steal, he's going to steal $1 million and then he's going to go to some kind of off island away from everybody.
See, that's best case scenario, but what I've noticed about people that are willing to do underhanded things, or they want something, or just in general, us as people are never fully happy. So we're always going to want more and more and more and more. So even if they got that $1 million and they succeeded, and there's no heroes, they got the $1 million, they succeeded. Best case scenario, they go live on an island or something away from people. The other scenario is, I was able to get this $1 million. I probably can get another $1 million and another $1 million.
And I'm gonna help you out. There are some like Batman and Joker. Like Joker, did little tricks here and there and steal money, whatever. But he didn't really become involved in doing something until he met Batman. He was like, "You complete me." Oh my God! And it went off the walls of him trying to. Obviously hurt a lot of people. But, that's a prime example. Like, even in the comics, what was it? The Joker never cared who Batman was. He was just like, that's his cover. I don't care. He only cared about Batman.
To be honest with you, he'd probably be disappointed.
He probably would,
because it's almost like you never want to meet your heroes.
Yeah,
and in a weird way, Batman is Joker's hero.
Yeah, I would have to do that.
So if he were to be like, it's almost not knowing. It's like, I don't really care who he is. All I know is this Batman character, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to kill him. But like, if you find out that he's billionaire Bruce Wayne, I didn't want to, because it's DC, I didn't want to make like the Marvel reference. I mean, Iron Man and Batman are a lot alike in a sense, but
well, here's the thing about it too, and it's quite odd. You technically, with the Batman being Joker's hero, I could totally feel that, because if you really think about it, Joker always tries to test Batman's morals in terms of saying, this is what humanity's really like. But Batman, even though he portrays like a dark side in terms of he's from a dark past, he always believes in the good of people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's quite funny how like the villain tries to show the hero like the dark side. Why the hero at the same time who Dark Knight like tries to show like no, there's good in people, but like it's kind of like the villain is trying to show like an actual reality of what life is like. It's not like this good and evil kind of gray areas and blah blah, but they both help each other grow in a sense. You know, because like
have you seen The Killing Joke?
I've not, but I've read on it. Like
at the end of that movie,
they're both alive, you know.
I love it because at the very end, he, as opposed to him trying to beat, even Joker was waiting. At the very end, this is how it ends. In case y'all haven't seen it, this is the way it ends. Joker is laying on the ground.
Right.
He's lost.
Right.
And Batman is standing over him. And then Joker goes, well, get on with it, beat the crap out of me, whatever you're going to do. And as opposed to that, he helps him up. And then he says, there's this back and forth. One of us is going to always try to kill the other. He was like, let me rehabilitate you. He said, we can end this, let me help type of thing. And Joker thinks, you can tell he thinks about it for a second, but he says, it's too late for me.
Yeah, he's gone past the point of no return.
Yeah, and so that's whenever he said it reminds him of a funny joke, and the joke that he tells is there's these two people escaping from an insane asylum, and they're jumping over rooftops and stuff, and then there's a gap that one jumps over and can make it, but then the other one can't, and he says, okay, I have an idea, I'm going to shine this flashlight across the gap, you walk over the beam of light, and then I'll turn it off. And he says, what do you think, I'm crazy? I know you're just going to cut it off whenever I'm halfway across. And he starts laughing or whatever, and he thinks it's super hilarious, like that's the joke. And then Batman starts to laugh.
Yeah,
and then he puts his hand on his shoulder, he's laughing, ha ha, And then the camera pans down just to a puddle, and it kind of leaves you wondering
what happened.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, because I know that, and I saw like a clip of it on YouTube, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, because like we're so used to getting
torn reviews too. Yeah, I actually really love The Killing Joke, the comic, the movie that they came out with, but I didn't hear until recently that some people didn't care for it that much, and I thought it was provoking. It covered all the bases. It covered Joker paralyzing.
Well, it's one of those things. A lot of people didn't like it is because of the way it ended. Like people nowadays, we're so used to like, especially growing up, like
gratification.
Yeah. Like, but especially like as we grow up and told like fairy tales, like there's a happy ending, like or there's an ending that like makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like maybe the villain won.
It ends with an answer as opposed to a question.
Yeah.
Where we at least always get our answer.
Yeah, but this one ends with a question. Which just leads to more questions, and then leads to more arguments, because everyone's just like, no, I think Batman probably just had to kill him.
That is a possibility.
And it is a possibility. You're right, and you're wrong. What is it? Schrodinger's cat?
Wait, this is a paradox. Barry, where are you at? You're just creating paradox. Stop it. But to be honest, if you want to go to that instant, if we just go ahead and jump to the paradox or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a very human response to him to want to save his parents,
Yeah.
And then I question the fact that if Batman was able to go back, do you think he would have the knowledge and understanding to be like, no, my parents were always supposed to die. I know that there's that whole thing where they change who died and then his dad becomes Batman. I know there's all that. I'm just saying, if Bruce Wayne had the opportunity to go back and save his family, do you think he would or wouldn't?
I don't think he would.
Because he is a very intelligent person.
Yes.
But Barry is very intelligent too.
Yes, but
at the end of the day, they're both human.
Yes, they're both human, but here's the thing. Batman has more control over his feelings, which this actually comes down. It doesn't come down to intellect. It comes down to feelings.
You're right.
Batman has more control, and Batman will be suffering, and he knows he'll be suffering, but he will hold the reins down, keep himself stable. Flash just automatically goes and says, you know what, I can fix this. And, like, even though he learns all the consequences, his feelings keep overriding that, like, intellect, saying, no, we could totally do this. And he's just like, you know what, feelings? You right me on that. Like, you got me there. And he keeps trying to change it. And the thing is, Batman would not save his parents. And it's sad, and like everyone's just like, no, he would want to. I'm not denying that he would want. Like he would probably he would give up his riches and everything to save his parents. But he knows damn well he can't. Now, granted, here's the thing, like you wouldn't really create a paradox if it was someone else that got involved in like Batman. Like in a sense, like if Superman went back in time and saved Bruce Wayne's parents,
Bruce would be pissed. If he ever found out. I know he may not find out.
Yeah, he may not find out because he never becomes Batman, but he never has.
But say Superman comes up to a situation in the future now that only Batman could fix or solve, so he has to go to Bruce, and he has to, oh my goodness, yeah, imagine if Superman, in doing that, had to go back and make sure the parents got killed.
Well, yeah, I can figure that, because that's just like what, in the TV series, The Flash, what happens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he ends up having to be like, no, this is a thing that always has to happen.
And the hardest part of that whole thing is, I want to hear you beg.
As Doctor Who said, though, there's different points in the timeline. That's something I always jump to. Is like there's things that can and cannot be changed because there's points in the timeline itself that like cannot be moved or changed. Like they're what are they called? Anchored points.
Yeah, anchor points. Yeah.
That always have to happen no matter what. And the times that he has tried to change those have not gone well at all. They literally, space and time in itself has tried to crack and break and freeze. Where you remember whenever all the events in time were happening at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a tricky thing. And see, and that's the thing. It's like, if you had the power to go back in time and change something, would you? And would you be okay with the consequences? Because here's really the thing is, the reason he says they cannot be changed is because he knows the consequences are just really dire. But say you get someone who just doesn't care, and that's where the whole situation comes about, like the whole Flash and Barry Allen and his feelings. Like he feels he can do this, and he doesn't care about the consequences. Why he always has to learn going back in time. It's a stupid idea, but he never does. You know, until like, you know, maybe way down the line when he grows up. But like, if you got someone who just didn't care about the consequences, it can be done. It's just, of course, the situation would go dire.
What would happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the butterfly effect.
Yeah, and it just be like, stuff happens. Oh well.
And that person may not, like you said, there's a crazy amount of variables, and there's so many different things that can happen to that person as far as consequences are concerned. They could become someone else, their family could be something else, there could be people that exist, don't exist. There's so many different options, so it just kind of leads to like, well, do you care or do you not care, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
So my one more question to step away from time travel for a second.
Right.
It's something that I have always been super curious about, and I find interesting. Shazam, especially since the movie's coming out soon. Captain Marvel, Shazam, them and Marvel had a whole thing. Either way, Shazam.
Yeah, that one I did not know. He actually had to show me the video explain, because I grew up when I was like Captain Marvel. And that's why, like, when someone was like, Captain Marvel is going to be in, you know, the next Infinity, you know.
And you're like, DC Marvel?
I was like, what? That makes, what? And he was like, no, now it's Shazam.
Yeah. There was button heads.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, there was a scene in an animated series where, excuse me.
No problem.
A scene in an animated series where nobody on the Justice League knew that he was 8 years old, and then eventually it came to be that they recognized that he was. So then they had a meeting after he was already on the league about whether or not he should be kicked out. Batman was the only one that said that he knew, which I'm still curious whether or not he actually knew or just said, I knew.
I think Batman knew.
He probably knew because he has contingency. Yeah, he has contingency plans for everything. But I feel like because he does have the what's called the it's the something of Solomon. The
eyes of Solomon?
No, it's the knowledge, but not knowledge. It's whatever it is. He has an older outlook than 8, especially whenever he's in his full form. He still has his childish tendencies.
Yeah.
But I mean, Flash has childish tendencies in the animated series.
But
what I was going to ask is, do you think the reason for wanting to kick him off the team was solely because of his young age, or because they slightly felt played and lied to for his age?
I would say both. I would say a little bit of both. Because one, obviously, the thing is, they're super beings. They don't want the idea that you trick a super being. That's why you always have like Greek stories, of like the gods being pissed at someone saying something and tricking them. But like I could see them wanting to kick him off. But at the same time, if you dive a little deeper, they're probably they know damn well, like like in the comics, especially probably most likely in the comics, you'll see it where people die, like things happen. This is a dark world in a sense. Like they've seen the
especially DC. Yeah. We're talking DC right now, especially DC.
Yeah. And
that being said, Gwen Stacy died. But still, all right.
Yeah, stay on track. But the thing is, like it's an ugly world, and maybe they want to kick him off because they know he's 8. Yes, you got whatever wisdom and everything, but at the core of your being,
Solomon's wisdom.
Yeah, yeah, like at the core of his being, he's an 8-year-old. That's why he acts like Barry acts like a child, but there's between acting like a child and you're actually a child.
But the other thing that I definitely bring into play is because I don't think I would care the age of a person, especially because by this point in them being together, he has saved and helped them on so many missions and actually kept a lot of them alive.
Yeah.
So at that point, I don't care if you're 8. If you're 108, if you're man, woman, bug, if you're gay, straight, if you have 78 personalities, if you've saved my life, I want you on my team.
Yes, but here's the reverse of that. Maybe they want to kick him off the team because they know that he's saved their lives numerous times, and they want to save that innocence. In a sense, save it that way. Like, I don't want you to turn into something ugly like we've had to turn into.
They're just look at Batman.
Yeah,
he is messed up.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are sometimes, like, each and every one of them have had to make a tough call where some people may die. And the thing is, they can kind of handle it because they're adults. They've grown.
They fully developed brains.
Yeah, in a sense. And they know he's 8. Now, granted, you're right, like, they would probably want to keep him on the team for the same reason. He's 8. He's innocent. He believes they can do anything. Good.
And to be honest, he's going to have that kind of like Spider-Man mentality where he just wants to help people.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these other heroes have been places and seen things.
Yeah, they've been to the trenches.
The trenches, the muck.
Yeah.
That have changed their perception on certain things of like, well, this is an innocent life, but something that actually I've caught up a little bit on the Flash is like something that Plastic Man had to learn.
Yeah.
Was that sometimes you have to let the villain go and they can't pay in order to save an innocent life.
Yeah.
Because he almost hurt a girl.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to capture the villain at any cost.
Right.
But see, imagine, if you will, if you put a Spider-Man or a Shazam in that same place, I guarantee you all day, every day, because they're young innocents, they're going to want to save the innocents.
Yeah.
And then just worry about that later.
Yeah. But here's the thing, too. It's also, it'd be a mind fuck for someone like them. Because, say, and it does happen, like, where, like, the bad guy goes away, and they hurt more people. You saved one life, or you could have saved numerous lives that would work down the line. And that's where
the scales.
Yeah, and the scales. And the thing is, like, it comes down to it, they want to keep him on the team because, like, that innocence is there to be kind of like a guiding light. It can be. It has been before. But at the same time, you don't want that light to get dirty. Like, it's one of those things where Batman would be like Batman won't show it, but you're right, he's been through a shitload of things. But the thing is, he'll probably be like, I can handle it. Maybe mentally he's almost at the breakdown, but he's still going to try and handle it. So, like, it's almost like, I'll do the dirty things so you don't have to. kind of relationship. But the thing is, they know.
But Batman wanted to keep him on the squad, though.
Oh yeah, and you know, I'm pretty sure Batman has some real good reasons.
But I think something they brought up, actually during that conversation was, oh well, of course you want to keep him. You had a 9-year-old Robin, you know, and we see how that turns out sometimes.
Yeah,
and it was crazy though because he turned on him. Something that she said was, oh, so you wanted to have him on this team, so he turns out like you. He said, no, I want to have him on this team so he doesn't turn out like me.
Yeah,
I was like, Batman always coming out with the bangers.
Yeah, that's almost like the same reason why, like, you know, they got mad at the contingency plan that he had. You know, it was like,
if you want from me, all of you are crazy superpowered beings.
Yeah, and the fun thing is, like, and that's the funny thing. They're just like, well, we feel like our privacy's been invaded. Well, someone has to. With all due respect, like, someone has to be ready just in case somehow you get your mind control over, or you lose it, or say you finally change into that.
It just happened on multiple occasions.
And the thing is, like, when you cross that line, and he knows damn well because he's always coming close to touching the line. Like, and so he knows the second though he crosses that line, it's crossed.
I feel like there's a difference between your contingency plans and just going out and trying to get ahead of something. That you can be prepared for all of the Justice League to like turn against you, but the second you decide that you need to take a life or you need to do something of that nature, like you feel that this person is about to do something and you try to get ahead of it, I feel like that's where you're taking too much of it into your own hands. Having the contingency plan is okay. Before using your contingency before something goes wrong.
Yeah. Okay, I can agree with that. I can agree with that 100%. But it's one of those things that actually talks about like something like that. There's an anime out there. I really can't think of the name of it. If you think of the name, please let us know. But
it's word after it is. Yeah, really a description.
Yeah, and what it is, thank you. What it is it's like they have this like equation that can determine who's going to do bad things, and they take care of these people before they actually commit the crime they're about to commit or whatever. And so it gets into this thing where the whole entire population is being viewed through these cameras, analyzed, blah blah blah. And it's just like, is that right or is that wrong? Because technically these people haven't done anything yet, but the computer says they will.
Is it the one where they have readings of like their levels or whatever?
I think so, something like that. I think I might check. Yeah, like it was something I was thinking about watching. I haven't watched it. But yeah, it's similar like that, like the contingency plan. Yeah, it is good to have a contingency plan when things go wrong, but to do something before something goes wrong, you know, that's a whole issue right there.
A whole different can of beans. Yeah. Next time on the Nerd Word, we're going to be talking cosplay and diet, you know, because a lot of those intertwining things. So be ready for that next one. I think we about covered it. All
right. Well, here, you know, you've been throwing random questions at me.
We'll throw a finale.
Yeah, cool. So based on all the discussions we've had right now, like everything, you know, this whole podcast, would you feel yourself being better as a villain or a hero?
In real life, or like legitimately, like
imagine we were like in a comic world, and that was technically our real life.
If it was real life, then I think I would just make a better hero, just because of my personality and like my viewpoints on like morals and like my view on people. Yeah, I feel that I would just make a better hero. Yeah, just because I don't do shitty things, and I don't have a want to do shitty things. Right. Some people do, and I don't, because then I feel shitty.
Yeah. See, it's a funny thing. It's just
if I was acting though in a movie, I would love to be a villain. Yeah. Because I feel you can really get outside that box and do crazy things. You're not set to this line of stigma of things that a superhero has to be. Yeah. Whereas a supervillain,
They can be anything.
They can be
anything. See, and honestly, it's because of that I feel I would be more of a villain in a comic book series than I would be.
The debate. This debate is a hero versus a villain.
Yeah.
You're a villain, Moses.
And that's totally okay. You know, because it's one of those things, yeah, like, I follow the law. I do follow rules. I have my own personal rules. And the thing is, but I'm willing to break the law, break those rules, except my own personal rules.
Your own morals.
Yeah, my own moral. But the thing is, with heroes, they kind of like, they're, in my opinion, they're not willing to break all three, with the exception of like vigilantism. You know, so it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, if someone was bothered and they're hurting other people, I know for a fact if I had superpowers, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill that person.
Oh, you just gonna kill him?
Yeah. Not even the whole arrest the people, because like, going off the experiences of like this discussion and everything like that, I personally feel like prison systems don't work. But and I'm not talking about like, you know, like if you selling like drugs, like yeah, obviously go to prison for that. But
he said, I'll put you in handcuffs and take you in for that.
But like, if you're a pedophile, you damn right I'm murdering you. Like, if you blew up people, you can die.
You just blew up a bus full of kittens.
You're gonna die.
That's it. Yeah, man, that's two ends of the spectrum. It's like, what's morally right? What do you think's right? If whether or not you take it into your hands, whether or not the government sees it as okay.
See, and that goes back to the whole Civil War thing.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I gotta be somewhere in the middle, because I'm not gonna just kill people, but also I'm like Cap. So if I see something that's happening, I'm not gonna wait for a phone call to say it's okay.
But it's by situation too.
Yeah,
I had to give you that by situation, because obviously your morals change on the situation. Like, if someone was saying help, you know, blah, blah, and you didn't know them, of course, I would help them. But if it was like someone saying help, and then like they're hanging off a cliff and I see that they're a pedophile, I'll probably step on the fingers.
Wait, how do you just see that they're a pedophile?
Like, if you somehow know they're a famous pedophile that you see on the
they're a famous pedophile.
Hey, it does happen.
All right.
Hey, especially in today's world with the news.
I mean, you're right. But, all right, man. That was Nerd Word.
Right? Villains and heroes.
I feel like we got a lot of questions. If you guys have some answers to those questions that, you know, you want to have a discussion about, let us know. I'm Wyatt. I got Backyard Fitness and Stuff. F.N.B.N. This is Moses. You want me to put your last name in there?
No, I'm good. I got Facebook.
Moses got Facebook. If you find him, I'll just give you a hint. There's an instrument.
I was like, wait, is there?
There is. So if you find Moses with an instrument, you might be able to find him. But we're not going to put his last name out there because he's a villain. Until next time, we're the best.
I know what I know. I know what I know.